Welcome, aspirants, to this Rungta IAS Academy Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into an incredibly high-yield topic for your General Studies Paper 3 Economy and Environment sections. Look, the context here is a massive recent milestone. On April 25th, India's peak power demand hit a record 256.1 gigawatts. And during the afternoon, solar plants supplied a really impressive 21.5% of that total load. Literally an all-time high. But as we're going to see, this bright afternoon success story actually hides a much deeper structural issue in our grid.
Exactly right. And that brings us to the central question you absolutely must be ready to tackle both in your mains examination and the personality test. Think about it. Is India's solar bridge only half built? We've got tremendous ambition, and our installed solar capacity is expanding at a breakneck pace. But there is a massive bottleneck preventing us from fully utilizing this green energy. Understanding the why behind this is absolutely crucial for your analysis.
So students, do not let that impressive afternoon data blind you. Look at the full 24-hour ledger from that day, and the contrast is pretty stark. Sure, solar met 21.5% of the afternoon load, but what happens when the sun sets? That contribution plummets to just 0.1% for our evening needs. When you average it out for the entire day, solar actually only contributed about 10.8% of the total generation. This huge mismatch between peak generation hours and peak evening demand, well, that's our core infrastructural headache. Decoding the growth trajectory here is vital for your answers. India's installed solar capacity share has nearly doubled, jumping from around 15% in 2022 to nearly 28%. But look at the actual generation on peak demand days. It only went from 5.6% in 2022 to 10.8% in April. So you have this yawning gap. We have the installed capacity on paper, but we aren't actually utilizing it when demand peaks, and that points us directly to the root of the problem. Which brings us to a highly critical technical term you need to underline in your mains notes right now: curtailment. The bottleneck isn't a lack of solar panels, or land, or government ambition. It is missing batteries. Simply put, because we don't have the battery storage to warehouse that excess afternoon power, prolific solar-producing states are literally being ordered to halt their supply. They have to forcefully shut it down, otherwise that surge could completely compromise the stability of India's entire electric grid. To truly grasp the gravity of this, just look at this massive figure: 2.3 terawatt-hours. Between late May and December 2025, India had to curtail, essentially waste, this huge quantum of solar generation. To put that in perspective, that is roughly 18% of the average monthly solar output just thrown away. In October alone, 0.9 terawatt-hours were completely wasted, entirely due to the severe lack of storage. And here, aspirants, is your vital link for scoring those high marks in GS3. It's the macroeconomic impact. This curtailment, it's not just wasted energy, it's a massive financial drain. Legally, the producers of this solar electricity must be compensated, even if the grid cannot absorb their power. So where does that cost go? It shifts entirely onto the public exchequer. Essentially, taxpayers are footing the bill for power that was never even delivered.
Now, while that financial burden is heavy, an analytical answer must also highlight the silver linings. We are definitely facing a weather threat. The IMD has forecast a below-normal monsoon at 92% of the long-period average. That's the first time in 11 years we're seeing this warning. A hotter, drier summer means an explosion in daytime cooling demand. But the highly encouraging news is on the economic side. Standalone 2-hour battery storage tariffs have actually fallen quite sharply, dropping from 2.21 lakh rupees down to just 1.48 lakh rupees per megawatt per month. The economics are rapidly improving.
So, how do we fix it? What is the way forward for your exam answers? It's all about actionable, data-backed policy. First, the center and states need to urgently shift their focus from mere tendering to actual on-the-ground commissioning. Second, every single fresh solar auction has to be paired with mandatory co-located storage. We also must resolve the financing wall that these aggressively bid low-tariff projects are hitting. And most importantly, we have to scale our operational battery storage from a mere 0.7 gigawatt-hours to hit our target of 2 gigawatt-hours by December 2026.
We'll wrap up this explainer with a really powerful thought for you to ponder. Solar capacity without storage is a half-built bridge. Aspirants, lock that phrase in your memory. It is a brilliant prompt for your essays or the interview room. You have to critically analyze our energy infrastructure priorities and make sure that as we build this bridge to a renewable future, we are also building the battery storage needed to actually reach the other side. Thank you for joining us today, and keep studying smart.